I don't suppose you could give me a sample of your brain tissue for study purposes.
Dr. Hansen's probably beside herself at the thought of studying how physiologically the spellcasters do it. We're studying spellcasters today. Ghosts like Nova, super ghosts, or specters in other words, like Gabriel Tosh. We're going to try to figure out what happens as the mysterious Tosh contacts Raynor about a business deal and tries to get Raynor to help him for a piece of the action. Might be a good idea, might not be a good idea. So let's see what these covert types are up to. To get this far, though, we have to do the prerequisites, and as we can see here, that means 4 total missions. The first 3 of those are going to be Marsara, and then any one other mission. Once we've done that, we can start through these missions, which don't get us many research points, but they do get us a lot of credits, especially with the bonuses. First mission is Devil's Playground. In Devil's Playground, our objectives are to mine 8,000 minerals. And the catch, of course, is we need to spend some of those on defense and maybe offense. So there's a balance there. Well, you're going to hate this one, Jim. The other objectives are to rescue some of Tasha's people and also go kill a Brutalisk, which is kind of a massive Ultralisk. There's another catch here, and that is that we're going to be mining in low ground.
This place is a little unstable.
Tell us about it, Tosh.
The low ground gets flooded with
Lava.
every few years.
Yes, that could be a problem. So that'll create a challenge for our SCVs, but we'll figure that out. There are a lot of achievements we can get. Completing the objectives, finding all of Tasha's crew on hard level, destroying all the Zerg structures on normal difficulty, killing the Brutalisk with lava. And that achievement is called the Red Lobster achievement. It's about my favorite title for any achievement except maybe Couch Surfer for watching UNN broadcasts.
2 of my favorite things. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do. In my view, the key here is to get Reapers and more Reapers, and I'll talk about that in a minute.
Alert. Lava surge imminent. Evacuate low ground immediately.
And pay attention to that. Later in the game, you'll have a little countdown timer that will tell you when you're going to get a lava surge. But for now, listen to the adjutant. Get those SCVs out of there. Try to avoid disaster. Meanwhile, you need to be getting some base defense up. Put a couple of bunkers at your ramps and be aware that you get probed. You need to keep the Zerg out of your base or that would be disastrous. And there, your resource area is flooded. That won't last long, and then you go back to mining. If you have nothing to do at some point in this game, you can always fly a building down to the bottom edge and head along to the far right and see if you see anything interesting on the bottom edge over toward the right. At any rate, we'll get back to that sparse gold mineral patch.
All clear. It is now safe to proceed with mining operations.
And we'll also get a little present in the form of Reapers. Reapers have little jetpacks and they can hop up to this high area where they will find minerals and gas. There are a lot of high areas that you want to explore because a lot of the high areas have other Reapers. For now, we're going to go north and rescue Tasha's people. On the way, we'll find a little adversity because this is life and that's how life works. If we persevere on without taking any shortcuts, but doing what it takes to accomplish our goals, we will get those other Reapers as friends and pick up another command center. We're heading south to have a look at the Brutalisk's territory. We can pick up some minerals and gas here too. And if we go far enough south, we will wake up the Brutalisk and we'll either kill immediately or wait so that we can either kite it out and kill it when the lava comes. We want a small force for that so we don't lose it all in the lava ourselves. Kite it out, seal it off into the low ground with supply depots or buildings or something if we're really inventive. At any rate, we're running low on minerals at our main base, so we have to get out, mine elsewhere. That, of course, puts us under greater danger because we're more exposed, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, you're screwed if you rescue these guys and they immediately hop down, which is what always happens. You just have to get them back up to high ground, tell them to hold, find some medics later on, and in the meantime, clear out what you can from high ground. Excuse me, look up here. There you go.
Oh yeah, baby. The Grim Reaper
Now, apart from these minerals, there are some that are less obvious. You destroy that hatchery, not only will you get swarmed by broodlings, but you will get an opportunity to get more minerals and gas because there's some waiting under there. A nice Reaper force. You don't even have to spend money to get one. You can just pick them up as you go along and find other Reapers. Can do a lot in this game.
Traces of more minerals over on the other side of the canyon.
Okay, tell us where they are, Tosh.
That's all? I'm going.
Alright, thanks, buddy. And so you just play on, balance your play, get to the end. Here shortly before the end, let's see what happens when the lava floods. Is it really that bad? Is it really dangerous? Yeah, I'd say so. So, you get to 8,000 minerals, game ends, and you move on. What's on TV tonight?
Donnie Vermillion, UNN, your first, last, and only stop for the truth. Tonight, our own Kate Lockwell uncovers a secret shadow war waged by our brave Dominion ghosts against a ruthless hidden enemy.
Thanks, Donnie. I'm talking live with a specialist in the Dominion. I understand that you and your comrades have been against a group of... What can you tell us about that?
Well, Kate, I'm not allowed to say much, but I can tell you that his allies will not. We expect them very soon.
I think we'll all sleep a little better tonight, knowing our Dominion forces are watching over us. For UNN, I'm Donnie Vermillion.
I sleep better knowing we only have to go to one good source like Donnie for the truth. Next mission, welcome to the jungle. This time, we're helping Tosh steal Terrazine gas from the Tal'Darim. And those Protoss warriors are not going to like it. Here we are down at the bottom. There are Tal'Darim altars where we can steal Terrazine gas all through here. This is one of them. You can see the rest of them. There are also 3 Protoss relics marked like this you can pick up for extra points as a bonus objective. And there's a Terran base, or excuse me, a Protoss base just north of us and a couple little encampments that are relevant for the following reason. We can skirt around them on the right or force our way through on the left and get up to this area, but if we're rallying additional units to us and we're moving those units back and forth as they come out of the base, they're going to take the most direct route, and that's likely right through that Protoss base. We'll see why that's a problem later. Pathing is kind of an issue here. And of course you can see that massive Protoss base up at the top. At the beginning of the mission, though, we're going to start gathering minerals and build up our SCVs and start getting some production going and balance in our supply depot, standard thing.
This land was sacred to the Tal'Darim before Terrans ever reached the
That's very nice. A lot of people suppose that because you get Goliaths with this mission and they're handy little units that can attack ground and air, that you should just build massive amounts of Goliaths and run around winning that way. And you can if you want. I myself am not a fan of Goliaths.
You shall not defile the breath of creation.
Well, they're Terrans. Chances are they'll defile all kinds of things.
Execute all those who would desecrate our altars.
Without a trial? Anyway, I like to build Marines, medics, and Marauders, standard bio-ball, and try to accomplish these objectives here. The Protoss will try to seal off altars. If they seal off enough, we won't be able to get them. So at some point, you may want to think about stopping them from sealing them, but it doesn't matter if they get a few. Now pay attention to this. This is interesting. If we have a large enough force in this area here, and look at the mini-map, we can seal off, or not seal off, we can harvest, we can mine gas from these 2 altars and the 2 down below. We can get 4 at once. I'd ignore what Horner says. He's usually pretty sharp, but not here. And put 4 SCVs out on this and just rack in the minerals. That's fun. Now here a little probe was sealing off an altar. We hit it first. We don't want to try to engage all of this Air Force here and then hope the probe doesn't seal it off by the time we're done. Kill the probe first and then either pull back or wipe everything out. We're going to wipe all these out because we want to stay in this area. Send an SCV to get the one below us and this one, get 2 at once. That's good. But also tag this relic so that we can get some brownie points. The Protoss are not going to like this, so they'll be here. But
Oh, it's off.
It's too little, too late.
Armed and ready.
Alright, at this point, we're going to press up to the right side. We've got the relic that's just outside our base in the north, the one over on the left, and there is one here up on the right, you see. Talk about pathing. That was an example of people going the wrong way. So we'll spend about half of this force going to pick up that relic and about half of it to stay behind to defend. You can see up here on the upper left the probe in there trying to seal off that altar, and that just doesn't matter, so we'll ignore that.
We could use some help here.
Oh my. More people going through that little Protoss base and getting blasted.
We could use some help here.
At any rate, we're coming back to base. Now suppose for a minute that we did not have 6 of 7 and well, we do have 6 of 7. Suppose for a minute that we have our 6 of 7. This 7th would finish it up, but we don't have something that we want to accomplish, like maybe we haven't tagged a relic. Stop that SCV right there. Don't let it get all the way to the command center, and then you have time to go do other things, and if you want to finish the game quickly, just move it to the command center and you're over. Now, a couple of other things to note. Depending on what path you've taken through the missions to get to this point, if you've done a number of other missions, you may have mules or Vikings. If you want to get those relics, it's pretty easy to get them just by dropping a mule on one, tag it, you have it. You don't have to bring it back. Or dropping a Viking down to the ground and tagging one. Also, there are achievements here. Completing all the objectives. Playing the mission through with no SCV losses on normal. Not letting any altars get capped by the Protoss on hard. And also destroying all the Protoss structures on hard. Oh. I have got to get me one of those. Is that the iPistol 5?
I repeat, death toll is in the thousands. A Dominion weapons plant exploded hours ago, causing a chain reaction that has taken out several housing complexes in this working-class neighborhood. Dominion security forces claim it was an act of terror by the notorious Jim Raynor, but our own investigations suggest that the plant must have been infiltrated by forces with sophisticated stealth technologies. It begs the question, could some of the Dominion's ghost operatives have gone rogue? For UNN, this is Kate Lockwell reporting from the core world, Nefor 2.
The third mission of this series will be either Breakout or Ghost of a Chance. You choose to help Tosh or you choose to help Nova. If you help Tosh, you get Spectres. If you help Nova, you get Ghosts. They have mostly the same abilities, but a little different. Psionic Lash or Snipe is the main thing. If you choose Tosh, your first mission or your next mission will be Breakout, and you're basically trying to get all of Tosh's Spectre buddies out of New Folsom Prison. You can see Tosh is cloaked. Tosh is actually permanently cloaked. Pretty much permanently cloaked.
I can use a psionic explosion to take out groups of
That Mind Blast will stun things. If you hit them a couple of times, it'll take them out. Here's the path to get there. Normally, you'd follow this path. All the Raynier's reinforcements will, but Tosh, being smart, is going to find a few little diversions off to the side. From here, for instance, he can take down that tank and that bunker because they don't have vision up there. Uh-oh, that Dominion Ghost EMP'd him. I believe that would have taken down his cloak for a bit if it would have hit him square on. Tosh wants to get behind this roadblock. He can go up this side alley here, but he just got the consumption ability. That's very much like what the Defiler and Brood War has. And although Medics can restore his life, only Time restores his energy. He can get his energy back quickly by consuming bits of life from his allies. Thankfully, there'll be a medic there. Using Marines isn't as good as Marauders for that. So he ducks out through that alley, out the back, starts shooting, takes out these SCVs to stop them from repairing the tank, and then he can take down these tanks, which is just a nice charitable thing to do for the Terran forces that are coming along. As Dominion forces come up, he mind blasts them. Again, doing it once just stuns them, but doing it twice takes them out. And then taking down this tank gives him a conundrum. How does he approach those bunkers? Well, Tosh's handy size shield will not sustain unlimited damage. It can be taken out. And in fact, they took it out here, but thankfully he was able to finish off the turret before they could finish him. And Tosh needs to go over to this prison compound to let some people go. A few mine blasts, size shield to get that turret, and then shooting the tank will do that.
Let's just see about that.
Here are the main forces heading down the main road. Tosh is diverting up to the top. There's a lot of vision there. He needs to be careful. Watch out for that Raven. It will go back and forth, and when it's away, he can hit that tank and then deal with it.
You're close to the 2nd military cell block, Tosh. Feel like making some new friends?
Don't you worry
At this
about
next
us,
prison
Tosh.
area, when the
We'll
Raven
keep
heads
them
down the
busy
other
while you
way,
free
Tosh can
prisoners.
duck into this area where the Raven doesn't have vision even on its back, hit the tank, and then proceed with the rest of the operation there.
Let's do this.
Now this is good. We're all the way to the main prison complex. This is where the Spectres are held and a number of political prisoners and other people that Nyx doesn't like. Tosh is going to go in here and start using nukes. And Tosh's nukes come down much faster than regular nukes. Boom! Another nuke.
Allies are being attacked.
Tosh needs to watch out for Ravens as he goes through here. There. Oh yeah, there's still another in the quiver. Well, this base has to be cleaned up, and when it's cleaned up, the prisoners will come out, and that'll be the mission. Some achievements you can get are completing those objectives. Tosh never going below 100 life points on normal, or completing the mission on hard in under 25 minutes.
Breaking news. Reports coming in today suggest... What's that? We're going to Kate, but
The Dominion's highest value prisoners are loose tonight after a daring raid broke open New Folsom Prison. Dominion security forces are on high alert as some of the prisoners were former members of Project Shadowblade, which we've discovered to be a subversive offshoot of the Dominion's Ghost program. A number of political dissidents were also freed during the attack.
Do we know who did this, Kate? Was it Raynor's Raiders?
The evidence we have suggests it was, Donnie.
There you have it. Jim Raynor, making our world just a little more dangerous tonight. From the UNN studios on Core Hall, I'm Donnie Vermillion.
More dangerous for the real bad guys, Donnie. You should be worried.
Now suppose you played through one of these two missions and you wanted to go back and see the other. If you played through Breakout, you wanted to do Ghost of a Chance, go to the bridge, go to Mission Archives, select the mission and find that, and then play it. And this is what it would look like. In Ghost of a Chance, you're playing Nova. And Nova is trying to put a stop to the schemes that Tosh has. And there are 3 different areas you'll play. I don't think this map's very useful. In the first of them, you will be trying to destroy a Jorium stockpile. Nova will head off to the right. She'll snipe a Marauder and then try to work her way around behind a platform, but some people with vision up top will be blasting away at her, so she'll ask the main force
Stay sharp, boys.
to go forward and get up onto the platform and fight their way through to take out the turret, and then they can get a gate opened and move on. Once they get through there, they'll snipe their way or fight their way, as you choose, up to another area.
Acknowledged.
You'll note it takes some time between snipes. That's because there's
Careful.
cooldown.
There's a siege
And
tank
sometimes
up
you
ahead.
just have to sit, take
I
your
can
time.
get close enough.
Here's
I can
another
tell
thing
half
that
of them
Nova can
dominate
do
the
that's
crew.
pretty good. Hit D, click the tank. Domination, now that is hers.
Confirm that last.
She's
I'll
going
make
up
it
here
happen.
and sniping other Spectres. And eventually we fight our way through toward the end. This is the end. And we will dominate one of these battle cruisers. Yamato, the Jorium stockpile, and do all of this. should say the achievements for this mission are use dominated units to kill at least 15 on normal. And kill every enemy unit on hard, but not necessarily every enemy structure, just units.
Our next target is the Terrazine tanks. I'll clear a landing zone for you. Get ready.
Okay, we'll do her, Nova. Now, what we want to do here is when the Dominion comes down to see what's going on, we want to dominate the Ravens, since that can see Nova. Then get it out of the way, because they'll shoot at it. We'd maybe drop a turret first to give those people something to think about. And then slowly work our way on up to that platform, clear a landing zone for Ranger.
Say again.
Now there'll be some
status report.
So Nova snipes a couple of guards there at the gate and then heads down here to blast some Vikings that are not going to be terrible much of a challenge. Yeah, the problem with the gate is the controls on the other side, so you have to get something over there. What with the Ravens, you can do that. Now this obviously isn't a walkthrough of every single encounter. This is your game to figure out. It's just some tips along the way. With this gate coming down, we'll be able to move forward, and there'll be a bunker, there'll be a missile turret. We'll skip past most of that.
Let's make some noise. Say again.
But coming up, we do have a fairly important part of this particular third of the mission. Once you get to this area, there's a tank up there, and when you go down here, you'll see that just kind of out in front of the tank there are also a number of other units.
Got it.
So you don't want to just rush straight down that road, or you'll get nailed by everything. But if you can get rid of this tank, and then you can kind of skirt around that vision area up on the back of that platform, you can do quite a lot of interesting things. Now you see those yellowish crosses, those are specters. In each of the 3 different areas there are specters. It's best to get them since you need the credit. All of those specters are fairly easy to get, except the one up on the upper left here looks like it's out on an island and inaccessible. It's actually possible to get that specter, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But for now, we're going to take a fairly conventional approach to clearing out these forces. Okay, so your Raven can take that Spectre out either with the Hunter-Seeker missile or a couple of turrets. And although it's not apparent, and I'm using a clip from a save of it at a point at which I've already cleared that platform, you can have Reapers come around kind of from behind and they'll hop, hop, hop and get to that platform.
Got something for me to kill? On the way. Nothing I can.
Alright, now up here on the right there are a number of platforms with various troops here and there. You need to just kind of carefully work your way around here, taking that out and clearing it. Once you start to push your people up off of that platform and into this middle area, there'll be a nuke, and you can see that red dot. You want to stay out of the way of that till it falls. And work on up to this platform, get Nova to this spot here, and once she hacks into the nuke silo, she'll be able to do something.
Me covered while I hack into this nuke silo.
Wonder if that gas is flammable. Looks like.
Now why'd you have to go and do that? You're testing me, brother. Testing me hard.
Good job, Jim. One more to go.
That Psi Indoctrinator's heavily guarded. Nuking is going to be our best bet.
Oh, more nuking? So here's part 3. This time we're going to get the Psi Indoctrinator. Nova's going to have some air support. We'll hotkey the 3 different groups separately. Nova, the Vikings, and the Banshees.
Holla back. Can do.
And this is another mission where we're not getting any additional forces, so we have to shepherd a resource as well and just carefully, methodically figure out what the best tool for each particular challenge is and use it deftly.
Say again. Call the ball.
This part here I'm going to spend a little bit of time on since it's a pretty good example of that. A pretty good example of how you need to carefully use these tools in a logical manner at each step, and if you just slowly and methodically step through it, it'll work. We'll poke because there are some reasons.
I'm gonna enjoy this.
You can see just on the edge there is, but it's close to the turret, so if they went up and got it, they get hit by the turret.
Confirm that last.
There's one more unit we want to get, and Nova snipes it, then kind of skirts around. Not scared of the turret, but on the other side of that turret there's some troops we don't want to see her until she takes the turret down.
Let's get into the fight.
Status report.
Transformation system.
Nova here. On the move.
Alright, now you're going to be thinking, hold it, didn't she just snipe that Marauder? Yes, she did, and it didn't kill it. And that's because these Marauders and these Marines are actually mercenaries, so they're a little bit more powerful. But once the cooldown's over and she shoots it a second time, it'll go down. The Marines will go down the first time.
I got my ears on.
Here's something pretty cool. If we head down that way, we let out
I'm reading.
a horrible monster. Go, Brutalist, go. And it'll do some work for us, because up at the top of this ramp, there's a pretty major force, and it'll just go through them all.
Call the status report.
Now, another thing is, once it gets through, it tends to just sit. If you just give it a kick in the butt, in the form of a single shot, that'll move it along. And then if it gets confused, it just stops in place, or it turns around and comes back the other way. You can do it again. Boom, single shot, not a snipe, single shot, and it'll keep going. That's kind of fun. Unfortunately, it's also detrimental to the Brutalist. What we should do, except it's not as fun, is just dominate it. Like we're dominating this Thor. To send this Thor down here to get that Spectre and whatever else the Thor feels like blasting.
Get me back into the fight! I hear you!
This must be a National Guard Thor for the governor to be able to use it.
Watch this.
Okay, now we've worked our way back around to this other area. You can see from the minimap where we are. We need to get Nova onto that pad so she can get her nuke.
Strictly business.
As it happens, our good friend
nuke silo.
Tosh has a nuke also.
Just take me there.
So when Nova heads down this ramp with the group, Tosh will try to blast her.
On
Transformation systems.
Nuclear launch detected.
But being smarties, they head back up, and then after that goes, they come up the ramp. And at this point, we're just taking out a force at the top of the ramp before the final little act, which is getting Nova close enough to do a job on both Spectres here and also the Psi Indoctrinator. All of this will come down to just one minute.
Strictly business.
So doing this mission, which is not your chosen path, but you can get it from the archives. It doesn't give you additional money and research you can use, but it's good to get out of the way, and at the end of the entire campaign, when it lists what you've done, it shows that you've done this, and otherwise you'd be one number under, and some people don't like that. Don't you think these two would be better together? Maybe in a little cottage with a picket fence and flowers?